All right, so today I want to tell you the story of a couple, Robert and Sharmila, who went looking for one business to buy and they ended up with two, right? Not just that actually, but the businesses that they bought, they had different models, different industries, and also different cities. So, what started as a search for freedom became a crash course in deal making, funding, and figuring out what you really want in business. So today I'm going to share with you 15 lessons from their story that hopefully might save you months, if not more, of frustrations. If you don't know me, my name is Moran Pober. I'm founder of acquisitions.com. We supported more than $1 billion worth of deals at this point in hundreds of deals. And by the way, you can find the full interview on our website. And later in this video, I'm also going to share with you what they did right that helped them close not one, but two deals in less than a year. So, starting with lesson number one, which is that most people, in my opinion, start searching for deals too broad. So, our couple, they started like most people, they were open to any deals, right? Any industry, any size, any location. And maybe it sounds flexible, but it's actually, in my opinion, a recipe for a wasted time if you don't know how to focus. So for them, the first 8 months, they closed no deals, right? They had no momentum. They had maybe just endless calls and trying to make things work. So what's the lesson here? The lesson is that if your deal box is fuzzy and it's all over the place and you don't have clarity, your decision making will also be that way, which moves me to lesson number two. You can do this working just nights and weekends on deals. So they were both working full-time jobs and they were trying to run a search basically after hours. So after their actual day-to-day job. It's not easy. Not everyone want to do that, and not everyone you're going to talk to want to wait until or after 5 or 6 p.m., the brokers and business owners to talk to you. But it can work. It worked for them. And eventually, you just need to understand that if you're going to put part-time effort, then don't be surprised if you'll get part-time results, right? But in their case, it was basically the only way that they can make it work, and they made it work. Lesson number three in this process is that you don't need a niche specifically, you need clarity. So for them, they didn't narrow their search by industry, but they did get very clear on what kind of work they wanted to do day to day in the acquisition target, how far they were willing to drive, whether or not they wanted employees or contractors in the business. So it wasn't about finding the perfect industry, it was about finding something that matched their lifestyle, which moves me to lesson number four, which is deal flow dies when you focus on just one deal. So what it means, here's probably the biggest mistakes of what most new buyers do. Let's say you find maybe one deal and it's kind of like a maybe deal, right? So it's you didn't close it yet, so you stop everything else, you obsess on it, you research it, you call, you analyze, and 3 weeks later it falls apart. It happens a lot. And your whole pipeline is dead because you didn't continue your deal flow. So what they did, they solved this by bringing in actually another partner who helped them and kept the pipeline moving while they focused on deals that they liked and were worth pursuing. So they always had deal flow coming with the support of someone else. Lesson number five is that you'll want to find an accountability mirror. When you're new to acquisitions, every deal can look, kind of good. And that's the danger because they had our team in their corner who could look at their deal and say, and ask questions like, hey, do you really want to run this business day to day? Hey, does this actually fit your goals? And that clarity helped them say no much faster on deals and chase better deals that we were able to help them know if they're good or not. Lesson number six, great deals take time, but not forever. So for them, for 8 months or so, they searched solo with basically no traction. Once they got help calibrating their criteria, and having someone else support them in the deal sourcing, they had their first legit deal in front of them within less than 6 weeks when they changed their focus that way and had support on deal flow. So the lesson here is that you can spend months figuring it out, or you can get help and actually move faster. Lesson number 7 is that if you want help too, like if you're watching this and you want help buying your first or next business without wasting time or making a rookie mistake or missing great deals, if you want a team to help you find the right deal, get funding, and make sure that the numbers actually make sense, we're going to drop a link below to book a call. We've helped at this point hundreds of people go from searching to owning a business, and you can be one of them in the next 3 to 12 months if you're focused and listen to our playbook, basically. So, all right, back to the story. Lesson number 8 is that seller notes are your best risk reducer. So in their deal, in their first deal, in deal number 1, the seller carried a huge note. But it wasn't just a deferred money, it was performance-based deal. So they structured it so that if revenue dipped after year 1 or 2, they basically paid less, so they had less risk. It's pretty smart, it's pretty creative, and it's exactly what you want, especially if you're buying a service business with client risk. Which moves me to lesson number 9. One deal wasn't enough for them, and that's okay. So here's the twist. For this couple, they realized that sharing one business might not work forever. So they had, for them, different personalities, different strengths, and they wanted kind of like their own lanes. So when a second business came along, they just went for it. And it's okay, right? Everyone got their own goals. Lesson number 10 from that one is that the second business wasn't perfect, but it was right. They had barely any employees. The owner was kind of like the key person in the business. So lots of key person risk, right? So maybe it sounds familiar. A lot of small businesses are very much dependent on the owner, so you need to be aware of that. But when you see that, it means that they can also have clear processes to build. That business that they bought, basically, they had awesome processes, they had tangible services to offer, and they had a chance to turn kind of like almost a solo shop into a team-based company. So there was a massive growth opportunity that really excited them. So it gave one of them felt like they have a purpose and a room to build something bigger together. Lesson number 11 is that you need to remember that the bank doesn't have to love it. You need to. So for them, the bank pushed back a lot. There was too much key person risk, not enough years of financials for the business, not enough structure that they liked, but they kept going. They tweaked the model, they raised the seller note, they got creative, they worked very hard to find more banks, so they bet on themselves and it worked eventually. Lesson number 12. Fixed fee advisors save time and sanity. So one thing that they learned the hard way is that hourly, if you pay hourly for lawyers, accountants, it can very much kill momentum, especially if you already signed the LOI. Because I've seen tons of people who are just afraid to ask questions because every email might cost them $250, right? So what they did is they switched to a flat fee. They found a team to get a flat fee terms with accounting, legal, diligence, all of that. And then everything moved much faster because everyone was aligned to get the deal done. We at acquisitions.com now partner with a team that can provide a very fair flat fee on most deals. And that's one of the benefits of working with us. We have a discount with them. Lesson 13. These specifically, those deals for them, those were not passive income. So let's be real. The first business that they bought, it needed hiring, systems, daily management, and accountability. The second company needed better delegation, new staff, total owner replacement because it was very key. So for them, this was never about chilling on the beach. And again, maybe those are the deals that you want, and you'll just need to look specifically for those deals if it's just a passive investment. For them, it was about building something that they could eventually give them, something that could give them freedom and better return on capital than other asset classes. And of course, the potential is amazing on businesses. Lesson number 14, every deal has risk, just pick your flavor. One business for them had client concentration issue, the other had small team and disappearing owner, but the buyer looked at each and said basically, hey, can I solve this risk with my skills? If the answer is yes, it's a green light. If not, just walk away. Lesson 15, buying two businesses wasn't crazy, it was strategic. So in the end of the day, they bought both companies, two deals, two owners, two separate paths. Was it easy? No, but it gave them balance. So one cash flowing business to fund growth, one call it builder's playground almost to create something bigger and better. And I think most of all, it gave them purpose. It gave them a reason to wake up in the morning and feel like they are basically owning. They're being their own boss. Sometimes that freedom is worth more than everything. So if you're watching and thinking maybe I'm not ready yet, you probably are. You just need clarity. You just need a deal that fits you and people in your corner who've done that before. At this point, we've helped tons of buyers close all kinds of deals, big, small, simple, messy. If you want our help, there's a link below. Otherwise, I suggest you to rewatch this story, take notes, and I'll see you soon. Take care.